Right. So, welcome everybody to the Water Race Committee meeting, 6th of August, Wednesday, 6th of August, 2 p.m. So welcome everybody. We'll start with the Karakia Timatanga on the wall on the left. Thank you. So as I say, welcome everybody, and we've got a full house, and we haven't got any apologies. But as Lawrence Stevenson's away sick today. Oh, Lawrence is away. Okay. So any apologies? So I'm going to move that the apologies be accepted. Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Neil. All those in favour, please say aye. Okay. Is there any conflicts of interest or declaration on anything in the agenda today?
I would like to note a conflict. The proposal that's been tabled for the potential history research project on the races was prepared by my wife, Michelle Ferreira. So, make that more clear.
Thank you. All note, just note that. I don't think there's any reason not to do anything more about that. So thank you. Is there any no public forum? So we'll move on straight on to reports. Oh, sorry. Yep. Sorry, the minutes that were circulated from the last meeting. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Moved. Seconded. Ron. Those in favour, please say aye. Okay. Carried. Just in discussion, a quick look at them.
I'd like to raise something in minutes. So under the water race report, there was a motion moved that the officers will do a report on the management of the water race at 24 Cobham Road. I would like to just offer my apology that due to staff on leave, we haven't been able to complete that report yet. We will bring it back to this committee. So my apologies for that.
Thank you.
Johannes? What would be the process there though? Will you have a look at it with Pikey and then just fix the problem?
So we've committed to bring a report back to this committee. So what we're going to look at everything around the problem area. We'll have a word with the landowner. We'll look at the infrastructure and everything around and provide a report with recommendations in it for this committee then to.
So that'll be in 3 months' time.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes.
So the commission, particular landowner, like they've been waiting for this to be resolved for a long time. Is it possible to do that any quicker?
So it's possible to do the investigation quicker. To bring back the report to this committee will take longer. So we can commit to share the report with the committee as soon as it's completed.
Yeah,
we can definitely.
I just feel that sometimes in council things, when you've got an individual like that who's obviously been suffering from flooding, I think these things might be ASAP. So if it was possible, if you produced a report or something and you wanted our tick off and they, how you resolve it, maybe just email it to us and get it done.
I'll make it do that. Yeah, we'll probably do that, and as you say, do it informally through an email, and then.
I think so.
Can I ask whose property this is on? It's Karen. This has been going on for years.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, it's if you have a look at I had a look at this last heavy douse of rain that we just had, and you could see quite clearly where the water race had overflowed and gone out across that property. And it wasn't as bad. It wasn't like before it flooded her place as well. But you can see the clear water line there. So, the culverts just can't handle it now. I think Pikey and Johannes have looked at further upstream on the water race, and building in the solution at that end. But it's clear those culverts just can't handle the pressure coming down through again. But it's, I guess if we got a bit of a delay, could we either visit Miss McPhee or send her a letter saying that the issue is in hand, it's been addressed, it's been put before the Water Race Committee, and a plan has been put together?
Yes, definitely. We will reach out to her before the end of the week.
Thank you.
So is there a plan for the actual report we've done? We've got a time frame for it?
So Lawrence is back on deck today, or since the beginning of this week. So he did initiate it before we went on leave. But I would say, let's say 2 weeks from now.
Well, we look forward to seeing a report.
Everybody happy with that? Is any other matters arising from the minutes? If everybody's happy, could I have a mover and a seconder to verify that these minutes are true and accurate record, please? I'll move. And John Mick, second. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you. So now we'll go on to item 6.1, the water race report and water race quality report. Sorry. And
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll take the report as read. So generally speaking, the water quality parameters are looking good within the levels, acceptable levels. The other update we have here is we have engaged the consultant to do the sampling for water races in requirement for S92 request back to Great Wellington. That has been scheduled. We'll be shortly doing the sampling. So the request is to understand the overall effects of water take from these water races. So the sampling would be for ecology and the items within it. That's the major update in that regard. Otherwise, general quality of the water is acceptable.
It's good if I can maybe just highlight at the top of page 7, there's an interesting, the second sentence there just speaks to the quality of our water race water, where it's currently nitrate levels are less than what you would, the limits for drinking water. So, yeah, which is an indication that it's actually very good.
So I just wanted, in this report, they mentioned the cost of the consent. What's going on there?
Yeah, so once we put together, got the cost estimates for what is required to complete the further hearings and information that's required, and we went to a previous council meeting to adjust the budget from reserve balances, so that we can complete the resource consents.
So what's the money's been spent so far?
I'll have to confirm that.
From memory, there was $200,000 allocated from memory.
Yeah, it was around 200. I can confirm the exact numbers. I can probably before we leave today.
So the cost on these things, like when you do these consents, like do you get, for some reason, like we're putting it, then regional councils charge us for their
time, yeah.
For their time.
Yes.
So do you get a quote from them or an estimate from them at the beginning, or is it open ended?
So it is open ended to a degree, because at the beginning of the process they don't say how much time they would need to review the information and whether they would require further information or whether they would require hearings. Unfortunately, this is part of one of the challenges with dealing with the resource consent. Sometimes the consultants' cost also for getting the environmental impact assessments and those kind of things is unknown at the starting point. The more you do them, the better you get at estimating the budgets for a resource consent. But the challenge for us is because the resource consents are quite unique in nature and done long periods of time, close to decades apart, it's really hard to have a firm estimate at the beginning of a water rights consent or a resource consent.
So regional council charge for all the time they spend on it.
Yes.
I find those things sort of, I just find it a shabby operate like that, could we? Well, I find it's such a shabby way of doing business.
Yep.
On behalf of the ratepayers. And I would have, and it applies to council as a whole. But I think that there just needs to be a bit more focus put on actually strengthening these processes. And I don't think that regional council, like dealing with what we're talking about, like I don't think in this day and age that they have any right whatsoever to have an open-ended billing process with the council. I think we should have. I can't see why. I can probably emphasise it just wouldn't happen. But I can't see why we're allowed to happen.
That's what we need.
At the end of the day, though, like we don't actually want to do the consent. Like our water race is unchanged for 120 years. We don't see the need for it. They want to do it. They want us to do it, but they charge us. It doesn't sort of sit well with me. But I wonder if it's time we sort of even now say, well, hang on, this thing, what's the cost? And then how much more are you going to spend? We want to know. Because we're under budgetary pressure too. We can't have an open end and just put it on the cost and just send the bill out to ratepayers for increased rates. Like we're representing ratepayers here, aren't we? They're charging us the responsibility to take care of this business.
Couldn't agree more.
Is that possible?
I think the RMA allows the regional councils to recover their processing time. So that's it's something that is legally that can be obtained from us. I think that's what they're falling onto to do the consent process. So by law, they can actually charge us.
But I suppose a change though, a change would have to be initiated by us though.
I think
Like if you're gonna ask for change, you'd have to ask the question, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't think asking the question would be out of the realm of possibility or.
they are very firm on just applying the RMA as is, and we find that with every letter of the RMA when we're working within resource consents. But we can definitely have that discussion with some of the senior leadership, and then potentially at a governance level, that's probably something where the councils need to work on as well, because this is one resource consent that's under this pressure, but actually every resource consent that we're working on and every other council is working on is under the same pressures. We can definitely look into that.
Can I ask what a S90 request is? Because if you look back in the minutes for a couple of years, it's like a broken record, just seeking more information. And that's what's costing us, because you guys are having to do more work. And they're clipping the bloody ticket all the time.
So they're asking for more information to process the consent application we have submitted. So S92 essentially for them to legally ask us for more information, such as the ecology of the quality of the water or the effects on the.
Well, if you look at this,
that is very
doing a
specific.
bloody good job keeping the stock out of it, aren't they?
So it's just not that; it's more the marine life inside water and different aspects of that environment or the ecosystem.
I get that, G, but it's following John's. That's costing us a lot of money.
Yes, that's true.
And I hope that the government's changed the RMA might slaughter these buggers on there because it's out of hand.
They also say that
It's out of hand.
they could charge a reasonable cost, but I don't know how we can.
I think they're charging enough. I mean, if you add up, like I did, budget, what's been spent under here, 138,798. And here, I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
John, half the problem is, I've been involved with the golf club getting their resource.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
We have to deal with 5 different people.
Yeah.
And changing, one comes in, their idea of the RMA is totally different to the next one and the next one and the next one. And we've got to go through the whole bloody process so many times and they charge us for it.
Yeah. I think
I've been through it once. To pay for that once, that should be it.
I think, we all take our responsibility here as the elected ratepayers from the water race representatives, well, as we are, to our fellow water race ratepayers.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, through Johannes to you, Jeff, the irony is not lost on me that this water race was dug how many years ago? 24 years ago. Its purpose was to deliver water. Purpose was not to become a nursery, to feed the Ruamahanga and the other streams that have been polluted by resource consents, allowing councils to discharge into it. The irony is that this water race has now become a fundamental part of rebuilding the ecosystems of those rivers. So we could be these people could be charging them for the nursery service being provided. So I think in your discussions, you have leeway to push back on them and say, the purpose of these water races was to deliver water. That's what it's doing. You are fortunate that it's now an essential part of the tool you're relying on to repair your own rivers and streams, a service that we could charge you for. And so on that basis, there needs to be some working together or some collaboration and cooperation. I think that conversation, might I suggest also that in the next term, whoever the Wairarapa Regional Councillor is, probably needs to appear in front of this committee. And this committee needs to insist that the CE invite the CE of the Regional Council to come and speak, because I think you are in a very strong position where you can push back on them and make them rationalise. Failing that, a submission at select committee with the support of the management to be able to go back and support the RMA changes and highlight this. I know that David Seymour and Winston Peters would delight in this story because it would only fuel the announcements they've made that they intend repealing or dissolving regional councils. And any ammunition that they're looking for, ammunition like this would be hugely valuable to them if submitted in writing in a submission at select committee. So this is the council making it the water race is their property. Wrong. The property right lies here.
So those budgets, the renewal of the water race consent, 326,000 was set aside. And the estimate for completion is another 206,000. 100 and something thousand.
Is that what we're saying?
No, you will.
What you will have spent.
This is bullshit.
Oh, it's a 500,000. Over 500,000.
So can I just clarify something on that expenditure? So so the numbers are correct. We are funding it from the reserve balance for the water race. So the resource consent is seen as an asset that's being depreciated over time that feeds into that reserve balance. So that's something that we need to do through our financial process. So it's not that we can only use that for the renewal of an asset. In this case, we're using it for the renewal of the water race.
So how much are in the reserves? How much are on the reserves?
There's think we asked for $254,000 more, and the reserve balance was $322,000.
So we're short.
So there's
70K left.
Oh,
yeah,
70K.
left in the reserve balance.
Well, I find that for a little wee water race and a little wee consent, like we're not getting a consent to discharge sewage into Wellington Harbour. Like we're getting this is a little wee consent. And I find that $500,000 is ridiculous. And I don't think we should, I think that now that we've talked about it, I think we should stand up against it. And I think we go to regional council and say, look, we can't afford to, we're not going to spend this money.
Choice.
I'll pick up on Lon's point about the select committee or whatever. We need to make this public. $500,000 is just totally bizarre.
Yeah.
That's the only word for it. And, I come to every meeting,
Yeah.
3 monthly and exactly the same comments are in this report. Waiting for more information, more information.
If the water,
So frustrating.
if the water sampling and things were coming back within these reports and it was extremely negative, you could understand the extra requirements, but they're not.
They're not.
So I don't understand it either.
But we've paid for the water sampling all the way through.
Yeah.
So that's been done.
Yeah.
So then where's $500,000 going?
So maybe Ron, well, I agree with Ron's suggestion, maybe at the next meeting, we have two people from the regional council here. I think that would be, I mean, we have asked for that before.
Yeah.
But for some reason they haven't attended, but
And so
we need Nigel Corrie in this room with us.
Adrian is not just
Adrian or whoever is the
representative or whoever it is. She's also the deputy chair for the regional council. Nigel's the CE, and I mean, you have every right to invite them. If they choose not to attend, well, there's a press release from this committee. Dare I suggest?
We should have press available when they're here anyway. shouldn't we?
But I think what you've said, Neil said though, how do we go about putting something in front of the select committee, is it wrong?
I think, I think probably what we've got to do first is give the opportunity to the regional council to come and visit us.
Yep.
When's the RMA legislation?
And then pending the results of that discussion, we go from there. Melvin, did you have something to say? Sorry.
John Neal, the meeting that we had at GB Electrical with GW, they gave us an undertaking that our sampling would be reduced because Ted Taylor, their own biochemist, said half the things we're testing for is irrelevant to what we're trying to achieve with water quality. And some of those tests, we do 7 altogether. Some of those are 150 a pop. That's huge money to have testing. So we probably need to go back when we do our talk with them and say, right, which ones are we not going to have to do? Which ones aren't?
So just to clarify, what we're currently testing and reporting on is what's required from us. I think what we could do is we could take an action to first catch up with senior leadership from Greater Wellington and ask the question that this committee is asking, and then also invite them to this committee meeting for the next water rights committee.
Yes.
Yep, I think it's a very sensible approach.
Should we wait 3 months or should we have a special meeting to speak?
Officers take instructions from the committee, so
It's up to you, the committee. If you want to have a special meeting, straight after, once you know what the water race committee looks like.
Which is what, 3 months, isn't it?
We could have
Water race
that
committee won't change because our elections.
Yours guys don't change.
make up of our elected members. We could have that late October or early November.
Yeah. I mean, it's August now. September, yeah.
If you had that meeting with them, and if you had a special meeting like suggesting, and you went like you'd really want to go sort of halfway through September, because the longer you leave it, the less redress you're going to have, because they're going to keep billing us. So another month bills will come in. You really got to get onto it. But you really want to look at you really want to look at, sort of third week in September or something, I would have thought.
But yeah,
So,
to me, it makes sense. The sooner the better.
so I can report back to the committee via email as soon as we had that meeting with their senior leadership. And we can invite them to the next committee meeting unless the committee wants to do something
Or a special.
or a workshop maybe.
Okay, everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
So is there any more discussion on the water race quality report?
Say that it's really looking great results here, and it's
Yes,
credit to everybody that's looking after it.
It was out, just a question, it was outside of the report. So, don't worry about it.
you sure? Yeah.
Yeah, just to add, we do more parameters than these three. These three are the essential ones. That's why we are showing on the report. So we have many other water quality parameters being tested along with these. So these are the three essential ones. That's why they are on the report each time. So just saying we are doing best, or we've been asked to by the consent.
Thank you, Chief. If there's no other questions or discussion, I'll move on. Request a mover to receive the report concerning John B. Anderson, the grant. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. So we've got that one action that Johannes is undertaking, and we'll be back, obviously.
Yep.
Thank you. So we'll move on to the water race report. And Lawrence Johannes is going to take it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take the report as read, and then I would highlight just a few matters before I hand over to Pikey to have a word about his overseer's report. So since the last meeting, we've recruited the overseer assistant to IC. We're happy to report that Jason Rose has accepted the role. We're very proud and overjoyed by the fact that we had more than 80 applications for this role. I
There were
think
some rocket scientists in there, wasn't there?
I think that's and some really competent applications, all sorts. But I think that's a testimony to the significance of the water race and what opportunity this holds. But all out those involved in the recruitment was identified Jason Rose as a clear favourite. He also has practical experience on the network. So we look forward to adding him to the team. He's just backing up in Aussie, and then he'll be here sometime at the end of the year, and then we'll get him going. That's that. We included the financial report up until the end of June. So from the next report, you'll see the 25-26 financials. I think once we will send out the 25-26 budget once everything is finalised with carry forwards and so on. Just so that you guys can see that before we have our new meeting, because that would see the adjustment in the budget as we've discussed and agreed. Then just want to highlight and apologise for the lateness of the potential water race history project proposal. That proposal came late, even though we did look into that. That just came about over, for as long as I can remember that I've been involved with the Water Race Committee. The history of the water race has always been discussed. In discussion with Michelle, she's just done a similar type of project on a different topic, and she's very familiar with our area, so she was very keen to provide a proposal. But that's for the committee to consider. So I think just before we open for questions, I might give Pikey a chance to just go through the overseer's report if you want to highlight anything in your report, Pikey.
No, there's just those bits and pieces that we've been working on. Any questions? I think the main one for us is that we've got to remember that pine trees are now 26 or 27 years old. There'll come a time when they're probably less value because of their age, I think. Is that right, John?
Yeah.
But
What do
we
you-
probably need to make a bit.
Where are you up to with those pine trees? We talked about before, but you've got some, we're on a bit of a short leash because we've got to bring them through. Duckett, isn't it?
We'll get one
Duckett.
chance, but
You'll get one chance, so he's a good neighbour.
yeah,
But you really got to probably, and you've probably got to get Guy Farmer up and have a look on it. So
well, do you want to get them revalued?
Sorry, just,
I think you've got to get them revalued, they've got to come out.
just hold on. So I've asked Lawrence Stevenson to just get a quote on an estimate on the removal of the trees to make sure that we don't run a loss of taking them out. And if that happens, then we reconsider. So we'll get a few options and then make sure that we get it ready for the summer.
So is he getting quotes from people?
He just got back on Monday and he's away sick today. So that's on his to-do list, and he'll work closely with Mikey to get it done.
Good. Nothing else in the
Yeah, I'd say sort of reiterate what Johannes has said, really, like the process of getting, that we went through with getting a 2RC, that we thought was a good process. And we think that Jason, and he understands, we've been in the game before, so he's got a very good understanding. But he's a guy he's a local guy. He's got to live in Masterton. So he'll have like we said, in organising this, he'll have a ute and be set up. And so he'll be taking his ute obviously home, but not private use. So to make it efficient. So he'll go from his home in Masterton straight up Norfolk Road, East Territory or whatever. And then in times of adverse weather conditions where they've like and have got to go out and do things, he'll go straight out there. So I thought it was a good process, and he was happy with the employment and the conditions, wasn't he? And so he was pretty good. Yeah.
I think it was very lucky to get someone like Jason to apply and, been able to apply. I'm very happy with the outcome.
Yeah. I think a really nice touch in his application was at the right at the end, basically, he stated that he would like to, I think it was words where he would like to continue Mr. Pike's legacy.
Right for him.
very official.
And his wife.
Sounds like you shared a picnic or two before now.
Yeah. He was an outstanding candidate.
The nice guy too.
He's a very nice man.
It's very good. So yeah, I think it's really important that you as water race ratepayers and users obviously are happy with the decision, and it's been, I think it was the right decision. You guys to actually pick the winner. So well done. Thanks for that. And we look forward to Melvin sharing some of his knowledge with the new guy, which is really good.
As I say, the jury ran the process well too.
Yeah.
Very good question.
Did a great job.
Good job. Or past on it.
Yeah.
So the only other thing is, in this report that I see, the potential water race history project. So where do we go from here with this? We've obviously now got it to read. Is it for us to read, decipher?
That's it's the proposed way forward though, isn't it? That's not the oral history.
Sue?
I'm doing it. I actually met with Shishol and Johannes and talked about this one weekend, a cup of coffee with them. So I suppose what came across was her background. So she's been interested in this stuff from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Two, she's a very nice person. So in turning around and interviewing people and talking to people, grey-haired people like John Booth, but they get she'll be people will be very comfortable talking to her, and that's a big part of it. She's got she'll be efficient in what she does. But, and there'll be a written history. She'll have oral interviews she'll take, but things will be documented. And the view that I take is that we've talked about this for as long as we've been around and getting stuff written down. It's really important. The longer we go on, some of those old people we're going to lose, like Barry Allen would be one up Chester Road, 87 or 8 or something. He'll be very worthwhile to speak to. There'll be others around like him, but they're getting pretty thin on the ground. So the further you go on, the more of those stories of what was done you'll lose through the generation. Like we all know stories because we were interested in that sort of stuff from our fathers, but then we only go back as far as we go. So that's why it's really important when you get a person that is capable of doing this job and one that we talk about, but none of us have got the time or the ability to do it. So that's part of it. And the other part of it, what I said to Michelle, is that the other part of it is to, while she's doing this history, is to actually be able to cover off everything and do the work to enter us in the environmental awards. Because again, we all talk about it. Each year goes by and we never quite get it done. So this way, so from where my view is that if we're lucky enough to have a person that'll be, the more she'll get into it just by nature of the personality, the more she'll dig, the more she'll be interested and the more she'll come out with. So I think that we're fortunate to do it. I think the time is now. My view is you pay someone to do it, you'll get it done professionally.
Yep.
You'll get it done well, and it'll be part of the history of Carterton, and which we all want. So I'm absolutely in favour of it, and I think we should be going. We should be giving Michelle a go ahead, get on to it, start getting it done.
Are you moving that, John?
Yeah, I'll move it. We do.
He's moving, I'll second it.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's time to do it. It's a great opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
And from what you read and see, it's very professional already, so.
I totally agree. It's time to do it. Got a fantastic opportunity. Just need to grab it with both hands. So I fully support that motion.
I think I would just add how this proposal has come about is she through her master she's just done something similar for the University of Victoria's Architectural Institute, and when she did that, and I saw what she delivered, and I thought, well, this is what the Water Rights Committee has been talking about. So that's how this has come about. So I apologise that it's come about as well.
No, we appreciate it.
That's very good. So,
Good forward thinking.
yeah, so from here, I understand
How do we pay for it?
John's moved and John seconded, and we've got a motion on the floor. Does that, are you including the costings?
Yeah, I accept the costings.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would move that we recommend to council that they okay this project.
So what that will need is we would need to make the committee will take that will take the committee's recommendation to council, at which council would need to consider approving the unplanned expenditure for this, because there's currently not a specific budget for this project. So with that, we'll make recommendations from which budget to, if we were to take it or reallocate or fund it. But that decision needs to be a council resolution.
Okay. Great.
Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Motion. Sarah, have you written down that?
Way ahead of you.
Good idea. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you. That's good. Thanks, us and our regards to, and thanks to the shop for the work you've done so far, really good. And obviously to John for the discussion you've had with it, with Michelle as well. Okay, is there anything more in And the water race report, I think we've covered it all today.
I have one thing that's not in the report. I just wanted to ask about where it was at. We had a lady doing a code of practice stuff for us. I'm wondering, there's nothing mentioned here about it. How far away from getting that signed off? Because it's something that's gone on for a long time previously to her doing all her good work.
So it was the code of practice. I believe it was in the final draft. And one of the priorities for Lawrence to complete. So that should come out in email form to you in the next week or so.
Great, thank you.
So no more discussion or questions. Can I have a mover for the report? Thanks, Steve. Quickly.
Second.
And Neil. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
It's carried. So, and we have the actions that we talked about. So that's it. So before just thank you all for attending and declare the meeting closed. Oh, sorry, Rob.
Just a closing, since this is my last Water Race Committee meeting, just wanted to take the opportunity through you, Mr. Chair, to thank everybody. I think this training and seeing this committee move a long way forward, in my humble view. I think this is probably the first committee that's really gripped its own ownership of the water race and the water race budget, how it should be managed, and I just want to congratulate you all for that. I think it's a huge step forward. You're lucky we got Pikey there, and now we'll have Pikey 2 coming on stream, which is going to give a bit more resilience and give Johannes more headaches because you have 2 Pikeys to deal with. Oh, sorry. But it's
The problem with me training, you'll get all my back.
it's having that institutional knowledge and the ethos and the culture, Pikey, that goes with it, because it is an asset that should be envied. But I just want to congratulate you the way in which this has moved forward. There's been some bumpy roads along the way. The whole question around the budget and past and where we sit presently and the decision that was made and reinforced by council. You should take confidence. Council, at the end of the day, saw the wisdom of what it was you were arguing. And Johannes, for you and your team, just say thanks. You've shown an ability to pivot and move, and that's, I just think you should be congratulated for that in the way which has all been done so far, Mr. Chair. So thanks for your time, thanks for your stewardship, and I'll watch you from the other side of the table next time.
Yeah. And also thank you from the elected ratepayer users to the elected members and the management. It's been a very positive, training for us as we've gone forward. It's I haven't seen like this before. So, and the good thing is, a couple of good things I know, like with that, the funding and the overcharging, the CE saw it and worked it out, and it was brought back to us. And I think something I really liked seeing today's agenda was our water race overseer's actual report, because in the past it's been a little bit skimpy, and I think Pikey, you being asked to talk to it as well was really a nice touch. And so thank you, Johannes and the staff for and the management for feeding that in, because it has worked a bit in the past that he kind of got sidelined a little bit for that. So thank you very much. It's been great working with you.
Yeah, I'd only add one extra thing. I was going to mention it, but I forgot it. Now I just remembered. Thank you, JB, for reminding me. I think this committee is hand in glove with the Rural Advisory Committee. And I think that rural advisory, that rural voice at council is important, because it is the rural community, not High Street, Carterton, that generates the GDP and determines the economic prosperity of the Carterton district for as long as the Carterton district continues to remain. Regardless of that, it'll still be the rural community and the wider upper that's determining our economic future and prosperity level. So finally having not just the Water Race Committee, to use the term which I don't know the English equivalent of, it's regaining its own tēnā rangatiratanga, its ability to determine itself, how it operates, how it goes forward, what the future looks like, how that's going to be achieved. That's been great to watch. What I hope we see in the future, in the next triennium, is the Rural Advisory Group becoming stronger and picking it up, whether it stays a rural advisory group, whether it becomes a rural standing committee, whether we see the compression of the two urban advisory groups, walking wheels and whatever,
Places.
merge with people and places to become a urban standing committee or an urban advisory group. It'll be up to the new council to determine that direction. But what cannot be allowed to fade away is the rural input into council and how it does business. This committee and the rural advisory group, I'd suggest to you, are fundamentally important to this council and the way in which it plans for the future and the way in which it operates. So if I just encourage you to keep the momentum going. Don't back
I'd
up.
agree, and I thank you for the initiative too, and getting that going on, because the way the voting is now, we don't have rural wards, and like you said at the beginning of it, that we're actually in danger of having no representative on council, and here, we're the engine room of the district, where that essentially most of the income by far comes into the town, comes out of the farming, out of the rural areas. So with agriculture, I agree with you, and I think we're all candidates here. So I think the onus is on you whoever of you wins, the onus is on you to make sure that it keeps going and give it strength. And I think I've said it over here, but if you look from, some of you guys have on spent council for a long time, but if you look from the outside, from a layman's point of view, well, we see councils and regional council, we see them as cumbersome, and we see them as not very efficient. And we compare with what we see in private enterprise, which is what we know. And one of the, and I think that, in my view, I've argued for a long time, but my view is that there should be a rationalisation of council, like in any business, and I mean by independent people, and then you have you work out what functions should be in council, what should go out to private enterprise, you look at everything, and I still think that's the way, but it's never sort of happened. But I think I think where we are now is what John adhered to Neil's home grant, but we're in a different space in this council to what we were 5 and 10 years ago. By and large, it's probably down to Johannes here. It's a different view, even though we don't agree all the time, but we always come to as long as he agrees with me at the end, it's okay. But we always get, but you need, so we're in a totally different space to what we've been in the past, and that's got to be promoted, and it will be strengthened by whoever becomes the mayor. At the end of the day, the mayor does lead that sort of stuff, but I think too that my view also is that where councils sort of where they bugger up is that they get advice from their staffers, they get reports, they get that in when they want more. The tendency is to go to an outside consultancy and get a report. Those guys are very good at writing reports and charging big money. And they don't, where the failure is that they don't understand the local community, how things are done locally. And I think that going forward, what I'd like to see happen is that the rural advisory group is a bit of a start, but even outside that, is that when you got an issue to decide, to discuss, that the council, instead of going within, they should look outside to people in the district who have had experience in that particular field and phone them up and get them in and say, look, a bit like probably Johannes does it, but and have a look at this. Look, this is what we're thinking. You've done a bit of this. How do you see it? And I think you get very good advice and save a lot of money.
Where's your nomination? You missed out.
On the outside.
Could I just add, sorry, Steve, there's 3 elected members here, and I believe, and I've seen it, they actually have gone into bat for the rural community in this last train them. And it's been great to see. And I know you've all got rural connections. I'm sure you'll all be back on the council in whatever form it is. But yeah, we appreciate, what you guys have put in. I know I've submitted a couple of times about stuff in person, and I've been very well and respectfully heard. And that says a lot about a council. And also I'd like to thank Sarah and Robin for the work you two have done. Yeah.
Just in reply to John, I think those figures that have come out from Greater Wellington Regional Council show what local councils are up against with costings. And that's just one thing with water braces. You think about everything that we have to deal with.
Yeah, well, that's what horrifies.
Yeah.
It's across everything.
Yeah.
I'm still recording.
Yeah, one more call. Are we?
Good, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just while we're still recording, so we're putting out a tender for the lease of Matarawa Farms while we are developing the long-term strategy of what we're doing on the farm. So that tender would be published hopefully by end of tomorrow, if not by Friday. It will run for roughly 4 weeks, so closing around 3rd of September with potential new tenancy on beginning of October. Just wanted to put it out there. That'll be on our council website.
Oh, yeah.
And very, very simple requirements for tendering. So
What's the area of that place?
85 hectares.
Okay, so that's my closing words, and this is probably my last position here as chairing it in this training anyway. So thanks to everybody that's been part of this committee. Thanks, Ron, for your wisdom and your guidance, and I really appreciate your words, and good luck in your new endeavours, wherever they are or whatever they are. They're still secret. But, thanks for that. And so I'll call the meeting to close, and we'll just stand and say, thank you, guys.
3:00.
So.
That's
Cool. All right, thanks very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
How's Murray?
Thank you.
Still stressed?